Hi, welcome to my video, and today I'm talking about Lightworks. And Lightworks is a video editing program. It's a very professional video editing program. I've been using Lightworks since about 2016. Lightworks is on version I'm recording this video on June 4th, 2020, and they're up to version 2020.1. And it's available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. And this review, I'm running it on Windows. Just to let everybody know, you need a fast computer to run Lightworks. And critically, you need a good video card. I bought Lightworks and I had an average video card, like a low average video card. And it was a graphics card. It was a NVIDIA Quadro card, but a low end NVIDIA Quadro card. And Lightworks is pretty much almost unusable. And then I kept the same computer. I didn't change anything. The only thing I changed was the graphics card. And I got a Quadro P2000, which is 5 gigabytes of memory, and suddenly Lightworks is usable now. So I would be running Lightworks on you're going to have the best, I don't think Lightworks is really going to be usable on a laptop, to be totally honest. And I only encode in HD. So if you want to encode in 4K, you're going to need a pretty fast computer. It's going to be slow though. So the final encoding in 4K is probably going to be super slow. And you probably need a pretty high-end graphics card. The only option that you have as well in 2020 is that there's cloud graphics programs that compute on the cloud. So they use hardware on another person's computer to do the data crunching. So that might be another solution for you. But today I'm talking about Lightworks, the software program. And it's a very professional software program. I think it's even been used on wide release movies from Hollywood and stuff. So like I said, it's up to version 2020.1. And I bought it in 2016. Now let's go to the price of Lightworks. So I have the full version of Lightworks, and when I bought it in 2016, it gave me 3 activations, and now if you buy it in 2020, it gives you 1 activation. So, but it's still a good deal, I think, because if you buy, it costs $437. But if you run it on one computer and that computer lasts you, I would say the average new computer will last you between 3 and 5 years. So if you buy a really pretty fast computer and then you buy your Lightworks license, you'll have that license for between 3 and 5 years. So it'll probably cost you around $100 a year for your license. And then if you get a new computer, you have to do an upgrade. It doesn't tell you on this website right here, but if you're a customer and you already bought their outright license, they'll offer you an upgrade license for like half price. So for me, it's around $200, and then I can upgrade to the latest version, and I can activate a new computer. So here's what else I'm going to tell you that you might not know. And that Boris effects and graffiti are pretty cool to have because it's pretty amazing what it can do. It adds like much more effects to the Lightworks program. Lightworks already has some is really great software on its own. But Boris effects and graffiti, which is included in the full version, is a pretty nice thing. So yeah, it is worth it. If you do, quite a bit if you're serious about the hobby of video editing and stuff, I would say that it's a very it's a top choice. You know, I think it's a really good choice. It's one of the best deals out there, especially if you have your own computer. And it's a really fast computer. So I'm a big fan of Lightworks. And again, I bought Lightworks, and for a while I didn't even use it because I didn't have a decent enough graphics card. So it's key that you have like a really decent graphics card because it's going to make the whole thing usable. I ran into a lot of snags when I didn't have a fast computer, and it just made it not usable. So I'm going to tell you one other thing, and that is they do, if you sign up for their email newsletter from Lightworks, they'll tell you when they're having a sale. And I think they have a sale at around Christmas time, and you can sometimes get it for half price. So you can get it for around $200, which is a really good, even a better deal. So let's just jump right back into Lightworks now. So we'll open a Lightworks project. Oh yeah, the last thing I'll say is that when you buy Lightworks, you're stuck with that version. So say if you bought Lightworks today, which is June 4th, you would be stuck with version 2020.1. And you get some minor updates, but your activation would be for Lightworks release 2020. And you don't get major updates, you just get minor updates. But anyways, I had a look at the brand new like I'm running an older version of Lightworks because I got my license in 2016, so I'm running Lightworks version 12.6, and I had a quick look online at videos put out this week on Lightworks 20, the brand new version, and it has a lot of similarities to older versions. So it's not a huge stretch when I'm doing this video showing you the older version of Lightworks. A lot of it will probably apply to the new version, so not to worry. So anyways, here I am going to open a new project. On the left you have a menu, and the second one down to create a new edit. So you click on create a new edit, and you get your timeline window, and you get your video window, and then you can import your files. So you choose on your computer the folder that you want to import your files from, and then you can import your files one at a time, or you can select a bunch of clips and do them all at the same time. Okay, so we'll import all those files, and now you can actually drag one file, or you can drag a whole bunch of files. So I'm just going to drag like 3. We'll just choose 3 maybe. I'm just having problems with my shift key. There we go. So we'll drag 4. So as you can see, it drags 4 of them at a time because we chose 4, and it color codes them like that, you can see. So when you right click anywhere, you'll get menus, so you can actually delete stuff, and then you can undo, redo. So you can delete or remove. So remove is really good for single clips. It's the best one to use rather than delete. So anyways, you can see the clips go nicely together, and you can actually get away without doing transitions because it's pretty smooth from one clip to the next clip. So you don't even really need transitions if you can get away without using transitions. So now I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff. I'm going to show you how to do some quick editing, clip editing. So say you want to add another clip, so you can actually, if you double click on the clip that you imported, it'll bring you up, the clip will have its own window. And you can actually choose where, using this whole window, you can choose where you want to cut the shot. So you can do mark in and mark out points, and then it'll cut the front of the clip and the back of the clip, and it'll leave this part is the good part in the middle. So you can move these cut points all over the place. You can put it right at the beginning of the clip. You know, you could just, if you just wanted to use the beginning of the clip, you just wanted this part, then you could do that. And then here we're back into the main edit, so you can actually move stuff around. If you grab the clip in the middle, you can move it, and you can zoom in or out. So you can zoom in and zoom out, so you can move the clip over. And then where you put the red marker, which is like the video head kind of thing, we can go back to our clip that we're editing, and we can drop it into the, what it'll do is it'll cut the clip where we put the markers, and it'll drop it into our edit. So we just hit insert and click on insert, and it'll drop our clip right where we want it, right where the video head is. And then you can zoom in and just go over to it, and you can slide it around to where you want it, and we can move everything over like that. So we don't need this anymore, so we can just close this now. So that's one way of cutting. I'm going to show you another technique for cutting clips, and this is a really cool thing, and that is that say we want to go to the first clip, we want to go to the beginning of the first clip, and we want to go right to the beginning here. Let's go right to the beginning. And so say we want to chop the front off this clip. So what we can do is, let's move our cursor out of the way, and we can just grab the front of the clip, and we can roll it back, and we can see on the screen it'll show you where you're rolling it to, and you can just, when you have it where you want it, you can let it go, and it'll just cut the clip right there, and then we can just bring it back like that. So that's another way of editing the clip. That's good for if you want to chop a bit off the front or the back of a clip. It's a really cool way to do that. So yeah, and so there's two ways to cut clips. So the next thing I'm going to show you is we're going to do some transition stuff maybe. So if you go to the beginning, between clips, you can do a transition that way, and you can zoom in to get to be super accurate. So sometimes what you can do is you can just right click when your pointer is right between the clips. You can right click, and then it brings you right up to the transition window, and you can choose a transition, and it just automatically adds a transition in like that. And so that's a really fast way of doing some simple transitions that are included with Lightworks. But I don't actually find that they work that smoothly when you do it that way. So again, there's undo, redo, so you can just do undo and stop that. When you're at the beginning of the clip, you can add a track, so you right click, and then you can add a video track or an audio track. And you can do it again, so we'll just add a couple of video tracks here. So this is another tricky way. I figured this out. This took me a while to figure out, but this is one of the ways you can do it, and you can move your video tracks around like this. As you can see, I'm moving my video tracks around, and this is another way to do transitions, and I find that this is a better way to do some transitions. So you put your cursor where you want it, put the first marker in, put your cursor again where you want it, put the second marker in, and then when you have your pointer over the clip, you right click and then add, and then you can use the, I'm going to show you the Boris transitions, so I'll just choose any one randomly. And this is the Boris transition that I chose. So, and you're going to see that this looks a lot better when you do it. So I'll press play and you can see the transition, and it does a lot of better job with the transition if you have the clips on separate tracks. And I don't know why that is, but it seems to work really well. So that's one thing that I was going to show you. Okay, so we covered transitions. So now we'll get rid of those marker points. We don't need the marker points anymore. We'll zoom out a bit. We're going to go to this clip right here, this little quick clip, this small clip right over here, and we'll zoom into it, and we'll put the marker points right at the beginning of this clip here if we can. So it's going to be easier if we zoom in a little bit to get it really accurate. So zoom in even a little bit more, and we'll try to get it right in the middle. So we'll try to put a marker right there, and we'll put a marker, let's undo those marker points. Let's go over here again. Okay, so we'll do this again. Okay, so okay, there we go, that's perfect. So we'll marker there, and we'll put a marker right here. I'm just going to do this quickly. So once you put your mouse over the video clip and then you click the right click and add effects, I'm going to show you two quick effects that are, these are effects that are come included with Lightworks, and they're not a part of Boris Graffiti or Boris Boris effects, and this is called DVE. So the first one I'm going to show you two effects. One's called DVE. So DVE is really cool. So with DVE, you can change the size of your clip, and you can move your window around, and this offers a lot of possibilities for you, and you can play it. So as you can see, with DVE, this effect called DVE, you could have two different videos running at the same time, or 3 or 4 videos running at the same time if you wanted to get really crazy. And there's really no limit to the creativity you could do with DVEs. You could use photographs. You could have video and photographs running at the same time. You could have titles on the side here with your video. It's quite a creative tool. So anyways, that's DVE. And there's even different types of DVE too. So let's remove that effect. Let's see if we can just remove the effect. Yeah. So and now we're going to add another effect, and this effect we're going to add is called color correction, and it's part of Lightworks. It's not part of Boris Graffiti or Boris Effects. So here's the it's called the color correction, and it gives you much more than just color correction. It gives you saturation, gamma, contrast, brightness, and gain. So you can do some really creative stuff, or you could just touch up your video, or you could do some really creative stuff. It gives you lots of options. So you get some really crazy looks, like crazy gamma. You can really go crazy with the color as well. It's pretty wild. So or you could just sort of, if your video is slightly too dark or too light or something, you can do some touch-ups with color correction as well. Under the main menu, you've got all these saturation, gamma, contrast, brightness, and gain, and you can kind of touch up your video with that. So those are two Boris effects that are kind of pretty cool. And again, this is just for beginners. You can go much more into depth with everything. So let's go back to the beginning of our video. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to add another 2 audio tracks. So I'm going to do add track, and then I'm going to choose 2, and this time I'm going to choose audio tracks. So I'm going to add 2 audio tracks. Now we're going to drag another clip in, as you can see, when I move the mouse pointer around, you can choose where you want to the tracks to go. So you can put the video, as you can see, it's kind of tricky. Let's try it again. There we go. I think that'll work, hopefully. Okay, let's try creating another video track here. We'll add another video track, and we'll do it again. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes you have to add another track. So now what I've got is I added, I only wanted the audio. I didn't want this extra video, so we'll just delete this track. Right, because we just need the audio. We didn't need the video, just the audio. So now we've got 4 audio tracks. We've got, and this is pretty handy because if you do voiceover, then you might have the original video, the original audio, and then you might add a voice track. So, but you want to mix everything, so you go into right click and choose audio mixer panel, and then you can bring down the volume of the first 2 tracks, and that way your voiceover is nice, sounds really nice and clear. The voiceover sounds really nice and clear over the original audio. And then you've got your final mix right here. And you've also got panning options, so you could wide pan everything. Stereo wide panning is sometimes a desirable, and it sometimes fixes phasing problems as well. So anyways, I'm going to delete these audio tracks. I'm also going to show you something super quick as well, and that is when you're on the audio tracks, I'm going to delete some of these tracks. Let's delete a couple of them. So what I'm going to show you now is that there's a yellow line, and if you right click on the yellow line, it'll create a point, and you can do that several times. And if you do it like 3 times, then you can right click on the center point and you can drag it down. And this is a really cool way, and you can do it on, you want to, mirror it on both audio tracks. So yeah, so this is a great way for surgically, if you have really bad popping and clicking in your audio, or you want to do a fade, this is another way to do a fade out. So you could like zoom right in and see if you can see these clicks. Oops. Oh yeah, it's over here. So yeah, if you put your marker where you want to zoom in, it'll zoom in right around your marker. So yeah, so you can see how you can really surgically sort of create your audio curve. You can do your little audio, you can do the, little volume tweaks of your audio just with these points, which is really handy. You could actually you could do really slow sort of fade ins as well. As you can see, it's really slowly fading in the audio. But if you want to bring down the entire level, it's better to right click at the end here and bring up the audio mixer panel. This is a better way to change the overall volume of the whole audio track. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is titles. So we'll go right to the beginning, and we'll go right to the beginning of the video. We'll jump right to the beginning, and then we'll put a marker. And then I usually do it like at around the minute mark. We'll put another marker, a right marker, and then we will, on the video, we'll right click and we'll add effects, and we'll choose, on this time we'll choose a Boris graffiti, and we'll choose one of the 3D presets. And this is creating titles, so the title will run for the time we set for it. So here we set for, I think, bound, it says 37 seconds or something. So then we do launch, we click on launch. And again, this isn't going to work unless you have a really good graphics card. You might find that this is really clunky unless you have a really nice graphics card like that, because this uses a lot of graphics power. So we select all of the text, we type in what we want. So, and then we can select it, we can change the font, we can change size, we can change the size, we can center everything, we can left justify or right justify it, we can do italics, we can change the colors in these lower menus. You can choose the color, you can choose a custom color, and you can change the shadows and everything as well, the edge shadows, edge color, change the edge color, and we could change shadow color, shade color, you can just go crazy if you want. And when you're all done, again, I'm just basically quickly running through this. You hit apply, and then you got your titles. And you can do this anywhere in the video. You can put titles at the end of the video. You could get way more complex than this. So now we're gonna put our final markers in. So we got a marker at the front of the video. We'll zoom out. We'll put a marker at the end of the video. We'll zoom in and make sure our marker is where we want it. And then we put our final marker, and this is good because when we finally encode the video, we don't want all this black space at the end. We want our video, if you want to end the video right here, you know, you can really be very precise where you want your video to end. If you want it to end, like, you can play it and then say, oh, stop it where you want it to end, and then hit your marker point, and it'll end the video right there. So this will be chopped off in the final cut. So then we'll do the final output. So once we're ready, we've got our titles, we've edited the video how we want it, we have all the cuts we want and everything, and the transitions, and we've, you know, done everything we wanted to our video. On this left panel at the bottom is export window, and we choose how we want it to be. When you get the full version of Lightworks, you'll have all of these options available to you. for outputting, which is pretty cool. So I'm choosing H.264 MP4 1080p 25 frames per second, 48 kilohertz audio at 16-bit sample size. I'm outputting it to choose a drive that you have lots of memory free, and then just name it how you want it, and start your rendering, and then it's exporting. So that's basically a quick video on how to quick how to Lightworks video, and I hope you like that, and check out my other videos, and I hope that helps people, in their decision if they wanted to thinking about buying Lightworks, and I hope that explains the licenses and stuff like that. So have a great day and check out my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.